Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So recently on my channel, I've been talking a bit more about understanding the Splinterlands market cycles. And that original conversation was mainly due to the Burning Chaos Packs proposal, which I think actually at this point has fully passed. Let me just double check here. I believe it's in completed. Yep, so the daily burn passed by a pretty decent margin over the 66% needed. But in December, we're going to start burning packs. And the reason for that, I'm not going to get fully into it here because I've talked about it previously, but there needs to be periods of time in which there are no new cards available on the Splinterlands market to help the economic cycle of the game. The holders of cards need periods of time where the supply is restricting instead of expanding. This is true across a lot of general economic cycles. If you're familiar with economics, there are cycles and waves that come with most things, and Splinterlands is no different. But there's another sort of mini cycle within Splinterlands that I wanted to talk about, and that's what I'm going to cover in this video. But before I do, I am Hawks21, and I cover Splinterlands here on the channel. It would be awesome if you're new to the community if you would take a second to subscribe to the channel. It is that big red button right underneath. It takes you 2 seconds, and I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into it. This is almost like a PSA as much as it is the cycle discussion, because the cycle is sort of the same situation. And that is, if we come here to this site, let me refresh it. This is a GitHub site that someone runs. We can see the current print rate of cards. If you look, all of the old, I don't want to say old, but all of the older common reward cards are over 86% printed. So we're slowly getting close to these cards no longer being available in reward chests. So that's right. And it even goes down to the rares, which rares are getting close to 75%. Epics right now are, at 72, and the legendaries are down at 62. So we're getting close, right? There's only 14% printed. Previously, what has happened, the old reward cards, once they hit about 75%, you would see some price differential between them. The better reward cards would start to separate themselves price-wise from the others, because people would realize, okay, we're not going to get these every day forever, so let me start buying up the ones that I really, really like, or the ones I really like that I haven't leveled up yet. Let me start getting those ones. Now, the reason why I don't think this is happening this time, and we're at 86%, is because, one, we're in the depths of a bear market, and two, there's so many more of these compared to some of the other print rates. Like there's 6 million Pelacor Bandits, there's 6 million Conjurers. There's just more of them, right? So that's going to delay, I think, the push forward. But nevertheless, what makes these cards interesting and what makes the print rate for these interesting is, as you can see, let's go back to peak monsters here. If we go to rewards, modern, common, we're only talking about, no, we're not talking about the new ones like these three right here. If you'll notice, they're all the same price, right? Just about. So like the bandit's a little bit better, but it's still a penny. It doesn't have these lower sort of bulk sales, which I'm expecting to pop up. Come on. But yeah, okay, no one's selling big copies. Here we go, finally. So like, you have people selling big copies for, cheaper than a penny. The reason why these are all priced sort of around the same isn't because they're the same level of value of card, right? People would agree. The one difference actually is the Pelacor Conjurer, which is so good, right? This is what you used to see. Once we started getting into the 70s and the 80s, the better cards would start to, instead of a penny, it's 1.6 pennies. And they would slowly start to differentiate. The worst reward cards would sort of get left behind. You can even see right here. These are some of the untamed ones. there's way less of these than these, but these got left behind compared to some of the other ones. Now, I've covered which ones are my favorite before, and it is the 3 that are up here: the Mercenary, the Bandit, and the Conjurer. That's not to say that you need to be rushing out and buying these up. It's more just like a PSA that at some point you're not going to be able to get these in rewards, and that's coming sooner rather than later. And that's when the supply starts going up, and anyone who comes into this game that recognizes, oh wow, the Pelacor Bandit is really, really good, across basically every single level, I need to make sure I have a max copy of the Pelacor Bandit. Right now people have relied on getting these cards and leveling it up that way. But that's not going to be available to you anymore. You're going to need to come to the market and buy it, which is going to slowly decrease the supply on the market, which pushes the card prices higher. So just something to look out for if you're not someone who tracks the print rates. I'll try to provide some updates as we go. I'll definitely, as it hits 90, I'll let you guys know. But generally speaking, in Splinterlands, it works kind of the same way as the packs do. Once there's not supply available, that's when you start to see prices tick up. And I think it's going to be similar situation here. Maybe the Gargoyle Lion sticks around at a penny, but the Bandit and the Conjurer, which are my personal 2 favorites, maybe you start getting 3 cent, 4 cent Bandit Conjurer. It's not a price prediction. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but historically speaking, that's what has happened. You've started to see some spread in prices as these get close to being done. Just something for you to look out for. That's true across all rarities, right? It's not just the commons, but the commons are the closest to being done. So yeah, if you're looking to make sort of a longer term investment in some of these cards, we're getting close to the point where that probably makes sense. If you're looking to level up the cards, maybe you're one of the people that I was for a long time, where I wasn't buying up these cards, I was letting myself accumulate them. Well, if you haven't got to where you want to get ultimately, now might be the time as we get closer and closer to the 90%. And this isn't something that I'm just saying, right? If we come here, let's take a look at, we go common. Oh, it's because I'm renting out most of my cards. Let's go to owned. If you look here, right, I have max level gold for most of these, but also you saw that 270 number for the bandits, right? I also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 max copies, 3 level 8s, 2 level 5s, and then a boatload of level 1s. Basically, any time in the past where it would go under a penny, I would buy these. So I was buying some of these max copies for like half a penny per BCX. And that's the same for the Conjurer. You see 210 in the top corner. I have way more maxes of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 maxes. 1 level 8 and a level 5, plus a bunch of single copies. Again, I'm not suggesting you necessarily have to do this. I'm just showing that, I have less mercenaries, but I got a bunch at the level 6 heal level because I think that's a particularly valuable level for the cost. Eventually, maybe I'll make these maxes. Again, you don't need to come out and do this. I'm just showing I've sort of put my... Oh, actually, I bought a bunch of gold mercenaries as well to that level 6 level because I thought that was a good speculation. But, again, sorry, I keep getting cut off because I keep wanting to say more things. This isn't something you need to go out and do. I'm just showing you, this is something I believe in and I've watched it happen a bunch. So if you're looking for a good speculative long-term hold, or you want to level up these reward cards, you might be running out of time. So that's it. I'm going to stop it there. Just a little PSA about these reward cards. Slowly but surely, we are running out of the print rate. So push and shove. There is a lot of them, but I think 2-3 years from now, we're going to be surprised at what the price is. Okay, hope you're enjoying the game. Again, if you are new to the channel, it'd be awesome if you could take a second to like and subscribe. I really appreciate you being here, and I will talk to you soon.